Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so excited. We're starting. We're so excited that you're here. I am thrilled today to chat with Jessica and Kimberly. Kimberly is one of our team lead clinicians here at Joi Blokes. And Jessica, I met you a few months ago, and I'm
Yeah.
so excited I was excited to like join your community because um, I am sober curious. Not sober, but I've been curious for several years now, to be honest, and been really working on my own, relationship with alcohol because as probably most people on here know, like the older you get, the harder it is to process, the harder it is to feel bad. And
Oof.
in my mid 40s, I've noticed that it's just really something that doesn't serve me well. But it's also a tricky subject because I've done it my whole adult life and I use it in a lot of ways, stress,
Yeah.
social, all the stuff. So I'm really excited just to hear about your story and what you do and kind of just go over like from a health perspective, we know we're learning
Yeah.
that's not great, but so kind of bringing all that together, like, how can we not instill fear of like, you can't do this, but like, think
Do
about
not drink.
it.
Like,
Think about it and
no,
think
that's
about
not
like
what
what's
we're
right.
about at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
Oh, I
hi
know.
everybody. And Jessica, if you would love to, I'd love you to introduce yourself and maybe just share your story a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me here. And Katie, you're right. Like you literally just touched on a couple little things that make changing our relationship with alcohol really hard because they're emotional connections. And you can't just be logical about that. You can't be like, well, 9 in 5 people, like, or, throw some statistic at an emotional situation, right? It just doesn't
Mhm.
work. We all know alcohol isn't great, right? It's a carcinogen, it's poison, blah, blah, blah.
Well, to be
But
fair, I feel like we just more recently learned that. I mean, they used to tell us like
Yeah,
a glass of
like
wine a day was good for you,
it's
right?
good. Yeah.
yeah, they're full of
Like I
shit.
can see that from the
Also,
medical world. I mean, there's a lot of things that you're told as providers that are BS,
sure.
and that's a whole nother, rabbit hole. But alcohol is one of those as well.
Right. And also I think who did those studies?
I absolutely,
Who
girl. You're
paid for those
looking into it
studies? You know
plenty
what I mean?
well. That's like a whole thing I do have in my notes to like talk about.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
But
mean, with any study, right? We're not
yeah,
just talking about
totally.
alcohol, but
Right.
like who
Absolutely.
did who did that study? Who conducted that? Who paid for it? Who's promoting it?
Big
Who's it
pharma.
serving?
Yeah.
Right? So yes, there's a lot of things out there. But I mean, if you've ever experienced a hangover, alcohol isn't the best. It's not great for you. And Katie, exactly what you said, when we get older, it gets worse.
Yeah.
It doesn't get better. It's not one of those things that you can just like sweep under the rug and keep doing. No. So I guess you want me to talk about me and my personal journey
Yeah, I'm
and
curious.
how I got here and how I
Yeah, and then
started
tell us
this.
about your community a little bit as well.
Totally. So I got into I guess we'll just call it the sober space and the sober curious, sober serious space before it was cool, before it was a trend, before, people were like jumping on the bandwagon. I've been sober coming up on 9 years, and back in the day, I say back in the day because the climate, the wellness climate, especially around alcohol, was very different. No one thought it was cool to be sober. No one thought it was brave. And especially, I was much younger. I was also a full-time DJ in LA.
Mm.
So, being a sober DJ in a club, like I worked in nightlife, I worked in clubs, like the clubbiest clubs, um, every night, like, well, 3 to 4 times a week. Like, that's a lot. And I can just say that I definitely took advantage of my drinking privileges
Yeah.
and some and more. But when you're in that space, you are literally paid to party. I was paid to drink. Everything was free. And for me, that was like just permission to drink as much as I possibly can. Why wouldn't you? It's
Hmm.
free, right? It's like I saw open bars as a challenge. Like, let's go, right?
Yeah.
I'm also Canadian and I feel like I can just drink anyone under the table. I think we all have these justifications and rationalizations of like why we're drinking, right? And how we're drinking and how much we're drinking. And yeah, guilty all day long. I used every excuse in the book. I justified, I rationalized. I mean, my job was big enough, like that was a reason enough, right? Um, and then I came across my dear friend anxiety. And it was so bad. And I don't know if anyone on this call has experienced anxiety, but to the point where your hands can't stop shaking. It feels like your stomach is almost like trying to outrun itself. And I would just carb load. I would try and slow my nervous system down with food, with alcohol. And I have to say, like, in the beginning, alcohol did a really good job at that until it didn't. And then I needed more and more and more. And then come cue the hangovers. I got to the point where I was standing, like, at work, trying to change a song, which literally takes 20 seconds. And I couldn't keep my hands from shaking. I couldn't focus. I couldn't do my job. And then I started missing gigs. And I'm single. I'm the only person, I'm the only provider in my household who is making a living. And yes, it sounds like a really fun, cushy job, only working like maybe 2 hours, 3 to 4 times a week, and like saying that you're a DJ. Everyone's like, oh my God, ooh, ah. I hated it. I hated it. I hated the people I was working with. I hated the people around me. Being around drunk people is not fun. I think we can all agree. Like, it's not cute, especially when you're just hating your life and wanting to get out of there as soon as possible. So I knew something had to change. I didn't really know how to. And so one day I was sitting at my kitchen table and I went through my day, kind of hour by hour. And I'm like, what am I doing daily, weekly, monthly that I actually enjoy? And unfortunately, there wasn't a lot. I was literally waiting around because I worked at nights too. I was waiting around to go to work, and that in itself, waiting around to go do something you don't enjoy or just are doing for the money is soul sucking. That will suck the life out of you, along with alcohol. Alcohol will do that as well. It's a great, very lethal combination. I like to call it the perfect storm. So having all these commitments and, having to maintain this lifestyle, like, okay, what am I gonna do if I don't DJ, if I don't work, and then the fear again, justifying why I need to drink, why I should be drinking, just to get through it, just to survive. All of this, everything that I'm talking about is straight up survival mode. I don't know if everyone has lived in that space or has experienced that space. It's horrible. It is no way to live. But I also didn't know any any other life. I didn't know anything else. And so it's very hard to change or take a step in a direction that you have no idea what the hell is going to happen, right? You have absolutely no clue. And I think the scariest part is, I guess, kind of knowing or kind of like, I don't know, hearing like things that could happen. And that's a great deterrent too, right? Not to try something different, right? I think we all know, we all associate being sober or not drinking as like, oh my God, you're such a buzzkill, you're so boring. Like, how are you gonna have a social life? How are you gonna date? How are you gonna do this? How are you gonna have sex? Yeah, it's all bullshit. It's BS. You
So
live.
one day you just decided I'm done.
No. So it took me a little while. I guess yeah, I could say I was like sober curious. I think one of the kind of bigger things, look, I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. I had tons of rock bottoms. Like really bad stuff. Horrible. Like I got pregnant. I'm a lesbian. Work that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing really unhinged stuff. It was not cool, right?
Mm.
I was hurting people. I was hurting myself. I got into a couple car accidents. I was drinking and driving. Thank God I didn't, like, nothing happened. But, like, I could tell you a list of crazy, stupid stuff. And
Yeah.
people would be like, oh, now you quit. No. Like rock bottom had a basement for me.
Oh,
And also when you're in it, when you're in this kind of drama, which I think also people are addicted to, right? Being in this kind of drama, it's exciting, all these weird things happening. It's normal. And I think the people that you associate with kind of fuel that fire too, right?
oh
You're
yeah.
friends with them because they fuel the fire,
Mm.
because like this craziness is their normal too. So you have these like total blinders on, this like almost tunnel vision. Um, I feel like I'm getting really off topic here. Just really getting into the nitty-gritty of like, ooh, don't drink. But like, yeah, I think okay, so I can remember the kind of turning point for me. And I was DJing at this really fancy, beautiful resort in Orange County called the Montage, if anyone is familiar
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Stunning, beautiful, right? And I just kept thinking, I don't want to wake up here hungover. Like, I don't want to waste this anymore. I've had such an extraordinary life. I've had really cool experiences. And I haven't even been able to fully appreciate it or
Mm.
live in it or experience it because
Yeah.
I've been drunk and I've been hungover.
Mm.
That sucks.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I am not waking up in this like Nancy Myers-esque suite overlooking the ocean of Orange County. I'm not doing it. I'm not waking up hungover. I don't care. I'm DJing this whole New Year's Eve party. Trust me, champagne is flowing. There is no shortage of alcohol. There is no shortage of reasons, right? Why I shouldn't drink. But there is this one,
Like
just
voice.
kind of, yeah, one kind of like idea that like, okay, but I don't want to wake up here feeling like shit.
Yeah.
And it's not like I needed to drink a lot to feel like shit, right? At this point, it was like, I think even like subconsciously, like I could have one glass, I could even have two glasses, and just the shame and kind of guilt around my relationship with alcohol was almost worse than a hangover.
Mm.
And
So
so
were
I
you
don't want to
able
do
to
it
kind
anymore.
of stop cold turkey, or were you kind of like stop, kind of was it a journey of like drinking less and then until you finally stopped?
No, I just stopped. I just, again, that day of like kind of taking this daily, weekly, monthly inventory of like stuff that I actually like to do and was I doing it was kind of a wake up call of like, Your life sucks. And guess what? You're depressed." Like actually admitting to myself, like, oh, I'm depressed. This is what depression looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't stop drinking through it. Stop trying to escape it. Stop running from it. Like
Yeah. Well, that is
you're
brave
you're
to like,
depressed.
it's brave to like first say, like, I'm doing
Yeah.
this for the wrong, like, this isn't me just, living my best life. Like, something's off here and I'm doing it for the wrong reasons and it's not serving me. So that's super
Yeah.
brave. And it's an
Yeah.
amazing story.
And it was very like not cool back in the day.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know,
I'm
when
very thankful now that there is a movement.
yeah.
Like, thank God.
Yes.
And same for hormones. Like, very thankful that there's also like a movement in both for women now. It's like we can wake up to know like there's a lot more options for us, and we just need to be
Hmm.
educated about everything, and then we make the choices for ourselves on, what feels right for each individual, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I
and also people just talking about like, oh, no, like you don't have to live like this.
hmm
Like you are in survival mode. There is so much better out there for you. I promise you.
right,
I
right.
don't know
That hope.
anyone who's like, oh God, I wish I drank more. Oh, I wish I had just one more hangover. Like, no.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
no.
How many
No
times?
one ever says, oh God, being sober and waking up clear-headed and remembering what I did, not texting that idiot. Oh, what a drag.
Oh, that's amazing. Kim, I'd love to ask you, like, from more of a clinical standpoint, kind of what alcohol does to us and why that when you enter more of your midlife years, does it get harder, to
Yeah.
deal with?
Well, I describe alcohol as, I like to tell my patients it's kind of that like high school friend or middle school friend you had that was like super nice to your face and fun to hang out with, and then she like stabs you in the back. And that stabbing in the back just gets worse and worse as you get older. So it starts to really not have any positives and more negatives. So um, I also like I would say I'm super curious. I don't feel like I have a really truly dysfunctional relationship with alcohol, but I certainly when I was a hormonal mess my own self like 6 years ago, I had to work really hard to figure out what the heck was wrong with me. I also had a lot of anxiety, crazy mood swings. Um,
Mhm.
just stressed out, fatigued, falling asleep at like 7 o'clock, just a disaster. And I did have to relook at alcohol. Of course, COVID, that was not a good point for a lot of people. I definitely was drinking more than anyone should during that period. And it was kind of a spinoff. So I had to also relook at my relationship just in relation to trying to get my hormones regulated, cut down on anxiety, cut down on mood swings, kind of the whole thing. And so that was a first wake up call for me. And then starting to realize, like, wow, my sleep is off. And then that's like a whole jumping point of like mood swings and anxiety and blood sugar issues and blah, blah, blah. So as you get older, I mean, just like everything, your liver, for example, has been at work for, 3, 4 decades. There's a lot of things in our environment that your liver is working on that you can't see, touch, smell. So it's constantly working. And alcohol is just straight up toxic. Like your body doesn't want it. Even though your brain maybe tells you sometimes that you want that, your body is like, nah, really, I don't. And it's a toxin. So it's going to hit a pause on um, detoxing and processing anything else. It's going to always prioritize alcohol. But the older you get, your liver is just doesn't function as well as it did in your 20s. And so that detox process doesn't go as smoothly or as efficiently. And so you start to just um, have more of those hangovers because it's like lingering around more. And also, like with the hormone changes, I mean, I think a lot of women almost like try to DIY themselves through perimenopause and menopause with alcohol because their hormones are like leaving the building, and then your anxiety all of a sudden is worse, or maybe you never had anxiety. You aren't sleeping well because of hormone changes. You're looking at your family or your partner, and it's like, God, I don't even know if I like you anymore. And like all these things are happening because you're losing out estrogen and progesterone and testosterone or whatever it is. Those are the main players, but your stress response also is taking a hit. Thyroid's taking a hit. And so women are starting to use alcohol to treat these symptoms, but really like they need to just sort of take a step back and recognize that their hormone systems are not working as well. And then that is also making your relationship with alcohol worse, and you don't tolerate some of the things. And I think a lot of women, at least in my experience, not just personal, but listening to a lot of patients, is anxiety the day after drinking really starts to surface where it didn't really ever
Mhm.
in your 20s, maybe early 30s. It's bizarre. It just comes out of nowhere. And that kind of takes even a priority over like feeling foggy or tired. It's just like all of a sudden you have this weird anxiety, and it's a weird symptom. And it ruins your sleep. I mean, it messes up your sleep architecture, REM sleep in particular. It really reduces how much REM sleep you get, which is a restorative sleep. So we have our slow wave sleep and REM sleep. And REM is really important for like learning, processing, memory. It's also huge for blood sugar dysregulation. So I always tell my patients, if you are eating even perfectly, you're doing your strength training, you're doing all the things, but you're not getting REM sleep, your blood sugar is going to still be all over the place. And then that creates these cravings and mood swings. And so you just kind of stay on this hamster wheel until you can sort of recognize, like, okay, what else is changing in my body, and why am I reaching for alcohol, but how else can I support my body to try and get a new relationship with alcohol? I don't know if I answered your question, but I'm trying to.
Yeah, no, you did. You
I
did.
also am very guilty about getting on these wild tangents. So
No,
reel me in if I'm not answering appropriately.
Well, I
you
mean, there's so
are.
much to say. Like, there's
I mean,
so
there is,
much.
and it's just like it's hard to
Yeah.
like totally just be like you're a terrible person for drinking, like, but it's
No.
it's there's a lot of like energy behind. I mean, there's a just they're really, I think in perimenopause, the alcohol and hormones really just kind of come to this head, and they just really don't work at all together, and they're connected in so many ways. And it's just like it's already a hard enough time in your
Right.
Yeah.
life, and it's like you don't want to try to make that worse.
Can I ask a selfish question? As someone like on all the HRT stuff, I'm curious. Like, I believe that my liver has to be working pretty well to process that, right? Like HRT does help, but it also your taxes your liver like all hormones do, right?
Yeah, so like it's tricky because if I have a female that is struggling with their relationship with alcohol, I'm not saying like a full like blown alcohol. I'm not a person that can treat that, but like just a little bit unhealthy. But they want to do hormones or they're having some of these symptoms. It's tricky because yes, your liver health is really important for detoxing and metabolizing your hormones, particularly estrogen. There's multiple pathways that we push down estrogen, and phase one and phase two of estrogen metabolism is in the liver. And so it is not a good idea to mix estrogen replacement with frequent alcohol because it really can change the way that you process. You can reabsorb estrogen that was tagged to leave your body, but then you reabsorb it. It's an inflammatory estrogen. So you're more at risk for side effects, not tolerating your hormones. They don't do as well, they don't do as good of a job. Alcohol is also incredibly inflammatory. It also raises cortisol.
Mm.
Um, Cortisol is a bully. So cortisol will keep other hormones from attaching to receptors. So let me back up for a second. Hormones are chemical messengers. They tell your body what to do. That is why when we start losing them, you're just like a new person and you don't know what the heck is happening. Because your body isn't getting like its messages, its emails, if you will. So it doesn't know what to do. And you have these doors on your the receptors on the hormone. It's like a little door, and it wants to accept the hormone. But if cortisol, that little bully, is like, nah, you're not getting in here, and it'll blunt like progesterone from working, which is your calm and your
Mm.
hormone and your calm hormone. It helps with anxiety. It'll block it, or your testosterone, which helps with mental clarity and energy and motivation, also mood blocks. So you're drinking alcohol, that raises cortisol. It kind of fuels it's just another way that alcohol can fuel the fire. It's not the only problem, but
Right.
so anyhow, to say that, so it can impact how well your hormones work, and then it also can impact how you are metabolizing and processing your hormones. So kind of a twofold.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
so not a good idea.
I
Brutal.
like this question for Crystal, and I feel like Jessica, you could be really good about answering
Yeah.
that one because I think that's a huge, I think that's one of the biggest issues, right? Do you see that about
100%.
trying
Hmm.
to be sober, but then your community is not? And that's hard. Like your family is drinking at the holidays, especially now. Like we're doing this right before the holidays, which might seem unfair, but it's like,
Yeah.
how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I get it. So, should I just read out the question just so in
Sure,
case
yeah, yeah.
anyone hasn't seen it? I'm assuming you're talking about Crystal saying, I'm
Yep.
sober curious, but when I talk with my husband about it, he discourages me from trying to be sober. Alcohol is a big part of our extended family and our friends. This is the biggest reason why I haven't fully tried it. Girl, welcome to the club.
Mhm.
Um, alcohol is used so much in connection. Family members, partners, most of the time, our partners are our best drinking buddy. That's probably how you met your husband. That's probably how you have a couple kids right now, right? And so taking that away is terrifying because then what's left? And I think, and I'm not on picking sides. I'm not justifying his reasoning here, but the reason why he's saying this is because he's most likely terrified that your relationship with him personally will change. And that's a huge fear for a lot of husbands. I mean, right now we just have women in our community, and this pops up almost every day. And it's terrifying because guys don't necessarily know how they're going to connect with their wives. Like, what are you going to do for date night? Right? This is like just the easy button, which y'all have been doing for years. It doesn't make it right, it doesn't make it wrong, but it's just fear behind that. It's the fear of change. And when you change, it's a domino effect, right? Especially being probably the head of your household. Um, you're going to change. You just are. The things you're interested in are going to change, and that's okay. But he's saying this because it's behind it is fear. And the only way to
And
kind
a
of
real
mitigate
fear, like
that,
an understandable fear, right? I mean, it'd be way
yeah, of
easier if he's
course.
like, I'll do it with you. Then great, you have a partner
Sure.
to do it with. But if he's not gonna do it,
Yeah.
then how do you ease the fear? Like, what do you do to make sure that you stay in a healthy, happy relationship?
Well, relationships take two people, right? So it takes both. It's a little bit of work from both people. And I think that again is also a fear, right? Knowing that you're gonna have to try to connect differently. Um, doing different things for date night, doing different things to socialize with each other. Or, I mean, it's not hard, but it is just different. It is a change. A lot of men are afraid that their wives aren't going to love them anymore.
Hmm.
Yeah, that they're not going to like connect and have like fun times anymore, which is
Yeah.
so not
Yeah.
true because
Yeah.
actually, most of the time, their wives stop nagging them for like a lot of stuff,
Other
or they
people
stop having like mood swings, after they're drinking. You talk about mood swings.
were
Mhm.
anxious about everything.
Yeah, who do you take it out on? Your partner.
Well, you also fight way. I mean, is this just me or do you fight way more when you're drinking with?
Hell yes.
Oh
I mean, when
yeah.
you're sober, there's
Sure.
like
Yeah,
way less like
Yeah. You're
random, random
yes.
like picking fights and random yelling, and it's just
yeah.
like easier.
But there could be more like heart-to-heart conversations, which again are different. Maybe things need to be said that have just been swept under the rug with a bottle of wine,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? I think it's the fear of the unknown, but we know you can't be afraid of the unknown. It's the things that we are afraid that are going to come up is what we're really afraid of, right?
And this is really one amazing if you haven't joined your community, because I think like this is
Mhm.
what the purpose of what you do is like you
Exactly.
attack all of these like these objections, these issues, the fear, like
Yeah.
you explain to people, and there's a lot of women in there that can answer like this is what happened, how I did it. This is what happened for me. So it's like all of the answers and the support, so you don't have to feel like you're alone on this island of being
Right. Like you're not
miserable.
isolated like an alien.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're anti-alien here. Um, but yeah, I mean, a lot of this is very common, and especially in our community, women talk about this all the time, and also how they overcome it, and how actually one of our coaches in the membership, she talks about this all the time because getting sober or her changing her relationship with alcohol actually saved her marriage. Her husband likes her way more now. Way, way more. Um,
Yeah. I mean, the better you feel about yourself too. Like if this is
yeah,
on your mind and it's been nagging you, but you're not doing it for someone else or for whatever is holding you back, like the more
yeah,
you can be yourself and feel really great about who you are and what choices
yeah,
you're making, and that, I mean, that just brings out more of the goodness in you. And I think there's more to love there.
absolutely. And there's a reason why you're sober curious. There is, you know, and he doesn't have to be on board with it. That's cool. That's fine. But also, like you said, Katie, finding a community who are on board and do have your back
Yeah.
definitely helps. And then he'll see in time, like he was wrong. He's
Yep.
wrong. The short answer is your husband's wrong.
Well, that's
Can
an
I
easy.
ask you, do you mind if I ask your opinion on mocktails? How do you feel about
Oh,
those? Like, do
heck
you feel like
yes.
they're helpful to help people transition, or maybe they just get
Mm,
a mocktail in a social setting where they're not getting hounded because they're not drinking or they're drinking water, but a mocktail could look like maybe there's alcohol in it, maybe not. Just curious if
absolutely.
you have gotten feedback from your community, if is that a helpful tool, not helpful?
Yeah. So actually, I think we need to break down because there's a couple different like things. Mocktail is a very broad subject. So there's a couple like I like to call them like alcohol adjacent. So like the non-alcoholic stuff that are kind of like
Okay.
the wines, the beers
Yeah.
that are almost like parallel
Yep.
to
Sure.
alcoholic things.
Hmm. Hmm.
I always like to preface like if you're gonna be triggered, if like the smell of non-alcoholic wine or non-alcoholic beer, because they are really good, like
Yeah. At like,
really good. If that's gonna trigger you and like maybe throw you into like curious about like maybe I should just have a real drink.
mhm.
Nah, try something other. Try
Sure.
so try something in the other category. There's kombuchas. There's, mixing different flavor profiles. There's many, many different genres, I like to say, of
Yeah.
mocktails. And this is like the best time. Like we have
Yeah.
so many cool products,
Okay. I feel
and it's
like, yeah.
very helpful. Like
Mhm.
the first thing when you think of like, okay, I'm not going to drink tonight, what the hell do I do with my hands?
Yeah. It's so true.
Right? We
Yeah.
have that muscle memory of just holding a drink and sipping on a drink.
Yep.
It
Right,
doesn't need to have alcohol in it, but it's just the act,
right.
just purely the act. And there's so many good. I mean,
I mean, like people can
some,
sit in the same chair, they can have the same similar glass.
yeah, it's
All the
just the
things, all the
ritual.
rituals can be the same. It's just you're
Mhm.
not consuming alcohol, you're consuming something else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're not going to feel like shit tomorrow.
that's a very
Awesome.
great point.
Yeah.
I think we answered
Yeah.
Marcella's question about does HRT change how your body processes alcohol? A little bit, right? Kim kind of said,
Yeah. I mean, they don't, the hormones don't necessarily, it's processed by the liver, but I would say alcohol impacts how your hormones are beneficial and metabolized in your body. So
oh,
I don't
okay. So you're gonna do better on HRT with less
with
alcohol.
less alcohol, 100%. It's one of
Okay.
many things you're going to be better at.
One of many. Okay.
But that's a big one. I mean, taking hormones is a huge investment. If
Yeah.
you really want to do that and you want to extend your longevity, it's like, well, does it really make sense to be still consuming a decent amount of alcohol? I mean, it's like you're kind of
Well,
canceling it
to
out.
your point too, it's interesting because I think that one of the bigger objections to HRT for a lot of women as well, they've heard it causes cancer, but
Yeah.
we talk
Mm.
about alcohol
So
causing
more
breast
people
cancer.
here.
And
And
what's how what how
alcohol is also a huge risk factor for breast cancer. Or
do we
like,
know how much? Like, what if you're a regular drinker,
I
what's
think
the
like
rate?
one drink a day increases your risk by like at least 10%.
That's pretty
Probably
significant.
more. It's pretty significant. It is one of the
Yeah.
um, probably, if not the biggest modifiable risk for breast cancer that you can do.
Wow.
And there's a lot of environmental things that go into breast cancer. There's a lot of things that go into breast cancer. Hormones are not one of them
Yeah.
causing. But alcohol is a big way to reduce your risk of obtaining breast cancer, for sure. That has been
Okay.
proven. Yeah. And it's
Um,
into a lot of cancers, but breast is a big one.
what about cortisol, which you kind of mentioned, but Abigail's asking what can help with cortisol levels?
Oh, girl, lots of things. But I would say here's why treating your cortisol and just like stress response work is kind of an ongoing project, literally for everybody, particularly females. Um, but it's hard because so much of it needs to be addressed in your lifestyle instead of like just popping a supplement. Like adaptogenic herbs, for example, can be helpful. But I would say breath work is probably the most powerful tool, if you will, that you can do to reduce, especially if you are struggling with elevated cortisol, to get into your parasympathetic state and kind of truly relax. And that's a thing that's much easier said than done. I'm guilty of it. I try really hard to incorporate it in my daily routine, and even I'm guilty, and I know all of the good things about deep breathing. And I've read the book Breath. I don't know if anybody's read that book, but it's a great book if you haven't. Um, but it can be really powerful. So there is an exercise called box breathing, and it's actually used by Navy SEALs. And sometimes I do feel like women in their 30s and 40s are basically like Navy SEALs. I mean, we do a lot of things. So I'm like, it tracks, pretty similar. Um, but it's an exercise. It's more of a simple one. The counts are kind of the same. So you inhale to a count of four, you hold for a count of four, you exhale for a count of four, and you kind of repeat. Um, there's YouTube videos. You guys can like YouTube these different breathing practices, and they do take time, but they're really powerful. They don't take a lot of time out of your day. 478 is another really good one for getting into your parasympathetic nervous system, and that was created by Dr. Andrew Well. So if you just Google him, there's a YouTube video that helps with that. So that's one way. Reducing alcohol, obviously, because we know that raises cortisol. Getting good sleep, another reason why you want to reduce alcohol. Quality sleep is one of the best ways to rehab your stress response system and lower your cortisol. And then, yeah, there's lots of supplements, adaptogens out there. I don't know if you guys want me to mention those, but I would say L-theanine is a great one, magnesium. Those are some that I use often or recommend a lot to my patients that I get really good feedback that work.
Yeah.
Ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha is good. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that sometimes it's kind of you have to try trial and error because not all the same work for everybody. Um, but yeah, there's endless supplements out there to address cortisol.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of times it can be high. Sometimes I will tell you a lot of my later, I would say probably late 30s, well into 40s, a lot of times my cortisol is actually low, and not high.
Mm.
That's kind of maybe a separate conversation, but sometimes your stress response is just like worn out.
Yeah, you're kind
Which
of
can
burnt
also
out.
actually help encourage cravings too, because your body is just looking for some sort of stimulation. It's like, please give me something. I'm dying.
Hmm.
That makes a lot
So,
of sense. Uh,
but cravings are also triggered by blood sugar dysregulation too. So that's a
mm.
Totally.
Maybe we can, so we have a question that was asked previously that was what peptides do you offer? Where are they sourced? But I think we can answer this question, but then also maybe discuss some of the things that help because we just talked about some supplements that help with alcohol, with
yeah.
cortisol, alcohol, but
Mhm.
maybe, we can talk a little bit about some of the peptides and how they help with different cravings or help with maybe reducing
Yeah.
alcohol.
So, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I don't, people are interested in talking about GLP-1s. We can talk about that. But I
Well,
would
there's been some research about how it changes your
and
craving.
a little, so there's more coming. There has been one study that was a randomized controlled trial. It was published earlier this year in February by JAMA Psychiatry. And it was a small study. It had 14 men and 34 women, which I was like, woohoo, more women than men. That like never happens. And the average age was around 40, so I thought that was kind of also awesome. And they divided them up into 24 weekly injections of semaglutide, which is a GLP-1. So that stands for glucagon-like peptide. And then 24 people got a placebo. And I think their trial ran over 8 to 9 weeks. They got the weekly injections, and at the end, the semaglutide group had significantly less consumption of alcohol. So it does work in the dopamine system. It kind of blunts that reward feedback loop that you get. And so your desire just over time for alcohol, sugar, any sort of dopamine hit, if you will. Some people have also, reduced their nicotine or smoking, vaping. So it's all kind of lumped in. But anecdotally, there's a lot of reports on less alcohol use. Um,
Yeah,
so it's not going to be that for everybody, of course. But I would say it seems like a large percentage of people that could be a potential tool that might make sense. It doesn't make sense for everybody, of course.
right.
But that's where, making sure you're talking with somebody and not just ordering things and injecting them. You want to talk to somebody and see if that makes sense or what else is going on in your body that we can help you with. Um, but that is a tool that can be helpful. I can also personally attest to that. I do a microdose of a GLP-1 just to control inflammation, and also my crazy, crazy sweet tooth that I have, that I am constantly battling every day. Um, so it's helped also with alcohol. I mean, I also was ready to make the change and recognize that it wasn't serving my health, and there's a lot of reasons that I'm don't drink very often anymore. But anyway, I think the GLP-1 also has played a role into that as
Mm,
well. I will go weekends where I'm just not even like thinking about it, which I would have never said before.
yeah,
So
yeah. Those weekends.
yeah.
Weekends get
Yes.
tricky.
Yeah. I mean, at first I would like not drink during the week and then you sort of just go wild on the weekends, which is not helpful.
Ooh, you're a weekend warrior.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
And then I was like annoyed that I wasn't able to lose weight or whatever it was. And it's like, well, duh, you're just erasing all your hard work during the week. So,
Yeah,
You
yeah,
really are.
so that's one tool. But I think in general, just like stress response system really gets overlooked. Metabolic health gets overlooked. That's another way that GLP-1s can, I guess, kind of indirectly help with alcohol cravings or any craving.
Mhm.
It's kind of stabilizing your blood sugar. You also do need to dial in nutrition. I mean, these are not designed to do all the work for you, or they shouldn't be. But that's another way that they can help with cravings with alcohol is managing your blood sugar and keeping your metabolic health. So
yep,
those two kind of hierarchy systems, like I like to say, that need to be addressed, even possibly before you're looking at other hormone supplementation replacement. Again, it depends on your age, depends on what's going on, but those are really helpful systems that, if you can get those sort of addressed, may help you reevaluate your relationship with alcohol perhaps a little bit easier.
right. And I can
Oh
answer
yeah.
there's a similar question, where peptides do you offer, but where are they sourced? And I can tell you, we source all of ours from US-based compounding pharmacies. We actually have our own pharmacy, and then we have several other outside pharmacy partners, but they're all US-based. They all are, FDA regulated. The sourcing of the material is very important. Peptides are having a moment right now, which I think is good, but the problem is a lot of them are coming from research based only laboratories, which literally means if it says for research purposes only, it means they're not testing it for efficacy, for purity. So they're literally not supposed to be injected in humans. It's supposed to be used for research purposes. So I would just caution people to be a little bit wary or very wary of where they're coming from. And then, but besides for GLP-1s, we do sermorelin, which is a growth hormone releasing peptide, VIP or VIP nasal spray is really great for people with gut issues, inflammation, IBS. And then we do,
Alcohol also ruins your guts. Just wanted to throw that out there too.
oh yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah.
Really
Really,
tears
Oh, yeah.
a really great point.
the intestinal wall, so leaky gut.
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty
I forgot
much
about that.
everybody, if you drink alcohol, you're gonna have leaky gut.
Mm.
Much a given. And that's a whole nother can of worms. Yeah.
I had a fully like gross ulcer from
Oh yeah.
drinking cheap alcohol.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But even the high end stuff, it's a toxin.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long do you feel like it takes to get alcohol out of your system?
So, I mean, there's different reports for different things, but I mean, really you can feel better even within like a week of just not drinking. Like mental clarity, energy, sleep improves. Um, and like, sorry, I have notes because I can't anything. Well, it helps me stay on track.
Oh, you're good.
Otherwise I get on
Amazing.
tangents and I
Mm.
have to like hold myself accountable. Um, but yeah, I mean, within a week, you have improved sleep, and that really in and of itself is a whole, I mean, sleep is foundational to literally everything. So with improved sleep, obviously mood improves, your mental clarity improves, your energy improves. Um,
I'm
and then
just kind of thinking for me, it kind of sucks if it's like if it takes that long because it's like if you just want to have one on the weekend, then you're really not fully experiencing the effects of
No, I mean, yeah, I would say for GI help, I mean, you can repair your gut wall pretty quickly, really. I mean, I would say you might need a little support with maybe some glutamine or a really good like probiotic to kind of get it up to speed. Within like a month or two, you really can start to like stomach acid also goes down with alcohol, and that can bounce back within a couple of weeks of stopping drinking. Um, I would say this information is probably based on when people were doing more daily drinking or most days of the week. I don't know that I'm speaking to the like occasional drinks.
Okay. We do have a question on not related to alcohol, but how long can you be on HRT?
Forever.
Yeah. And is there an age that's too late to start?
Um, no. Short answer is no. But there are certain like health screenings, health status that we want to make sure have been obtained before we're thinking about hormones. Um, this is an area of ongoing research, but the health protective benefits like cardiovascular, heart disease risk, dementia risk. I think right now if you start hormones past like 5 to 10 years, you may not get as much protection or any. Bone health, always you can get. The second you start on estrogen, you can help to remodel your bones and strengthen them. So that's always a benefit. And just quality of life. I mean, a lot of women, their mental clarity is better. They can have better conversations. Their memory is better. You can find words. You can have a conversation better. Um,
Mm.
your sleep is better, mood, all of that. You actually enjoy life. I mean, all of that can still happen even if you're well out of the 10 years of menopause. But from a
Hmm.
like disease, there is a little bit of a window that you want
Mm.
to in ideally. Yeah.
I feel like we're flying here, and I just want to before like we still have a little bit of time, but before we go, I want Jessica you to maybe tell us like how we would be involved in your community or what are the options there to get involved.
Yeah, definitely. So we have two tiers. Basically, our community involves a very robust community chat. There's a lot of channels in there. You can plug in there, you can read, you can see everyone's celebrations, everyone's tribulations, everything. Nothing is off limits, I like to say.
Mm.
Don't worry about posting. This is like it's all women, so it's a very safe space. Let her rip. And that goes the same for our coaching calls. We have 5 coaching calls a week, group coaching calls. with 5 different awesome coaches who are all very different styles of coaching, um, which I think is really important because it's just like a therapist, right? Some people are like, oh, well, I didn't like that therapist, so I don't like therapy. Nah, you have different options, different types of coaches. We have everything from like the Mel Robbins kind of coach to the gentle big sister or aunt. We have like everything in between. So it's hard pressed that someone doesn't find a coach that they like or enjoy. So no excuses. Um, and then we also have monthly challenges, which are really fun. So to keep everyone involved, keep accountability. And then we have a plethora of tools, lots of like pages you can fill out. Big fan of journaling. I love writing things out, getting it out of your head, getting it off technology
Yeah.
if you can or will. Because I think, Kimberly, you said, when we were talking about kind of managing cortisol and managing stress, changing your relationship with alcohol is also about managing your energy. Change in general takes a lot of energy. It just does. And so if you don't have the energy, that is when the cravings and the triggers are just so much easier to give into. And that,
Ugh.
again,
That's
you know,
so true. So true. And
yeah,
can I add that the women that come to us, that's the biggest, like 74% of them say, energy is my biggest problem. So
yeah,
you're like talking to me because it's like that loop. It's like when you don't, like when you feel good, that's when you have the energy to do better and better and be healthier and make the right choice. But when you feel like crap, you're going to
yeah.
make,
You
it's
want
just
You're,
like,
comfort.
I feel
yeah.
like hormones or adrenal support, it can kind of pull you out of that hamster wheel. So they can,
Yeah,
and
you
there's,
just need like
I,
one thing kind of to start climbing out and to start seeing hope and to start feeling better. And then you can, you never want to, you never want to overwhelm yourself with too many things, but like you just
Yes.
kind of need one thing. Tessa did link the Sober
Yeah.
Girls Guide community in the chat. And then it looks like
And you'll
Trisha,
get a free month. So you get a
oh,
free trial
sweet.
for a whole month. Hmm.
awesome.
Perfect. And let's make sure we answer Trisha's questions before we go too. I'm sorry, maybe I didn't see those in them before, but let's the first one is for someone with lifelong sleep difficulties. What timeline is realistic for noticing improvements after removing alcohol?
I would say within a couple of weeks, but I don't, Jessica, I don't know if you have,
I personally,
but you
I
might
don't
need,
like to attach timelines because everyone is very different. And I think sleep isn't just about like what we're putting into our bodies, it's also our thoughts. And it's also, if you think about it, like the ability to sleep is the ability to relax.
yep.
So what is getting in the way of you relaxing and gearing down,
Mm.
so to speak?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a
Just
lot of
about what we're putting in
components.
or taking out.
I would say if it's only alcohol that's contributed to your insomnia, then maybe a week or two. But if it's been lifelong, there's probably
Yeah, there's something
contributing
else there.
factors that we would need to comb through and try to look at. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I think the biggest
unfortunately, it's tricky.
takeaway, like we can take all these supplements, we can do all these things to detox our body and stuff like that, but like if we're not like truly at peace with ourselves, like we don't really have anything. Like if you're just stuck in survival mode, like how I was for most of my life, to be honest,
Mm.
nothing really works. It's just temporary. And so like this is a kind of a bigger picture. And I don't mean to be like, go a zoom way out, but
It's
there's
true.
only so much that supplements and all this crap can do. But like we have to really have a really kind, understanding relationship with ourselves first.
Mm.
100%.
That's the foundation. That's
That's
the building
beautiful.
block.
That's beautiful and so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, and somebody that can help you like literally even comb through like even your childhood. Like there's a lot of things that come out. There's something called an ACE score. I mean, there it is like when you really have to like look at a lot of pieces and it can be from past
Mm.
things that are then surfacing later and you've got to like address those head on or yeah, you're still gonna have trouble sleeping or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, the ability to sleep is the ability to be at rest and to be at peace with yourself.
Everything, your
And a
past.
lot of people, myself included,
Yeah.
that's not the case every single night.
Yeah.
Right.
But I will tell you, not drinking, not hating myself, not feeling shame about my choices, about who I am or what I'm doing, definitely helps.
Yeah.
Oh,
Big
for
time.
sure.
For
Oh,
sure.
for sure. And you can tell just even, your vibe and you being here and how you speak. It's in your core. So it's like it's shining out of you and that's
Thank
beautiful.
you.
And I know Trish, I don't know, did we answer your second question? How does alcohol interact with the autonomic nervous system and what evidence-based practices
Mhm.
support nervous system resilience for both men and women when reducing alcohol? So context, your partner was diagnosed with autonomic dysfunction and suspected Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I'm probably not saying that right. And he's volunteering to do dry January with me. What can we expect? Well, that's awesome.
Nice.
Okay, great. So maybe let Kim answer that. But I'm also curious, Jessica, and maybe you can either before or after, tell us if you have support for men or not, too.
Yes. I'll let Kim take it away, like the technical stuff, and then I'll jump in after.
I
Okay.
mean, there again, like it's alcohol is going to dysregulate your stress response system. So I would say, I mean, there again, like the deep breathing, literally, there's so much research and support around regulating your nervous system the most efficiently, the quickest. It's not always the easiest to execute, but it is the most effective. Um, so I would encourage him to, like right now, start to maybe explore some breathing techniques. Like I said, there's lots of YouTube videos. James Nestor himself has a website, and there's a library there, the guy that wrote the book Breath. Um, and maybe just starting to get prepared and be like, okay, I think I could maybe do this technique. It doesn't seem too complicated, it's not too long. And maybe start doing small practices. And then you, when you have a craving during the day, or if you feel anxious or spinny, then you just are like, okay, I'm not going to reach for X, Y, and Z. I'm going to sit here and do a deep breathing practice. And that just kind of helps to restore and regulate your nervous system. And then getting good sleep and getting up with sunshine or getting a light box. And then turning off all the lights at night and not kind of staying away electronics. Like those two things are regulating your circadian rhythm, which is also really tied to your autonomic nervous system. So I always kind of give the example like we adapt, but biologically, a long time ago, we got up with the sun, we were outside all day, we wore very little clothes, we were gathering food, and then when the sun came down, we went to bed. That's what we did. So deep down biologically, that's what your body wants. Now, it doesn't have to be obviously exact. That's not realistic for pretty much anybody in today's world. But if you just can think about how can I sort of recreate a little bit of that, that it's also really powerful and like a great place to start. So,
Beautiful. That makes
yeah.
a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean you're only gonna gain from not drinking.
Yeah.
That's just it, because alcohol just sucks the life out of you. Point blank. But to answer your question about men, yes. So actually launching for Dry January, we're coming out because I had such an uptick in men being like, I love everything you're doing and all this stuff and all this messaging, but I'm a guy. I'm not a girl. And I'm like, I know, I get it. And I think there is a huge space because there's nothing really out there for men that isn't like super bro, all this like eat a pound of meat. Um, Nothing kind of like in between. Um, and so January 5th, the first Monday of January, because it's very unfortunate that January 1st is a Thursday. It's just like setting dry January up for failure. So take that as your trial. Starting the first Monday of January 5th, we're actually launching a new app and it's called Better Help, Best Day. What? Better Help. That's my therapist. Talking about getting wires crossed. It's called Best Day. And so this is an app for both men and women. The chats are separated. Like this is very different from any other sobriety kind of app. So men will chat with men, women will chat with women. There is no hanky-panky weird stuff. They're both very safe containers for both men and women. Another really cool feature, because I touched on this before, but change is about energy. Change in general is about energy, and especially changing your relationship with alcohol that has a lot of emotional lifting to it, which is actually more taxing on your body or the same as like doing a HIIT workout. It's a lot. It's draining, right? Making these emotional changes with your relationship with alcohol is a lot. And so what we've done is we have gotten ahead of that. And I think the best way to combat stress, to address energy, is to be preventative, to get ahead of it. We all know it's 2025, going on 2026. We're all going to be stressed out. That's
Mhm.
a given. Stress is inevitable, right? But it's how we go about that. And we've come up with habits, tracking your biometrics, and giving you an insight to your best day score. So you're going to wake up, you're going to open the app, and you're going to see, you're going to do check in, you're going to see where your score is, and you're going to be able to be like, okay, this is a little bit of potentially low energy day. I got to be a little more aware. I could be at risk for reaching for a bottle of wine tonight when I really don't want to. But unfortunately, the energy levels and everything else our surrounding is kind of like stacking almost against us sometimes. And so having a preview into that is so helpful because it also doesn't make it personal. You only have this amount of energy in your day. That's it. And it's not personal to you. It's not like a moral failing, right? Of
Mm.
like how much energy you have. You're not a better or worse person because maybe Kimberly has a little more energy today than I do. What it is what it is. But it's working within those limits. It's not pushing you, it's not pushing you to burnout. It's being realistic. And that's okay, right? You can still have your best day. So
But hopefully
yes, men and
not
women.
an accountability in a way, an acknowledgement and accountability, kind of. The
Well,
app.
yeah, I mean it's
Got
also
it.
just giving you
But
the straight facts.
yeah.
Like, hey,
Mhm.
you slept like shit.
Yeah.
That's
Here,
going to
here's
affect you.
yeah. Right.
Whether you like it or not, whether
Right.
you have this long list of to do today, you might not get to it. And you know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
I think we're so, expected to do everything and more day to
Yeah.
day, and it's killing us. We're bending over backwards, we're abandoning ourselves. And so, yeah, of course, at the end of the day, you're like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna have a glass of wine
I
because
mean,
I
yeah.
deserve it. I'm tired, I'm exhausted. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But it's not the only option.
Mm.
Not the only option.
That's so awesome. I mean, thank you so much for creating this
Yeah.
great community and
Ah,
like for kind
great.
of leading the way, being ahead of the cool movement. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, my cool points went out the window,
But you're cool
Used to be a
now, so
DJ.
yeah. I
I
have
think
one
I'm
of my
so much
best friends
cooler.
is a female DJ and she is also sober. So
Nice.
still does that. You just reminded me of her.
Anybody that's a female DJ is cool. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
like
true.
that is just
It's actually like kind of a really good reason. Like when you are sober and when you're in environments, especially like nightclubs or like heavy drinking scenarios, and you just see people acting a fool, you're like, Yeah, I'm good.
But I
I'm
don't
good
want
with
to see
my
that.
Diet Coke or I'm good with my mocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
hear
don't need to act a fool anymore. I'm good.
you. Well, thank you guys so much. Jessica, thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
thanks for
Kimberly,
having
thank you
us.
so much for bringing all the clinical research and all your notes. We really appreciate you both. So, and thanks everyone for being here. Oh, good. Diane said she needed to hear that. So, thank you. Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll repost this on the website too if anyone wants to share it back with anyone that you love.
Hi.
All right, bye
Bye.
guys. Bye, Jess.
Bye.